Hey there everyone, and welcome to this episode of Gearist TV. Today we're going to be talking about the Fujitrail Packable Jacket from Asics. So if you spend any time outdoors at all, the chances are that you're going to run into a time where you're going to want to have a small, very light, very packable jacket with you. Now, that's if you're go for a late run or something. It starts out warmer than you think, and then it gets cooler, and you may want to put something on, or maybe it's in the morning and you put on something really lightweight because it's just a little more nippy than you want it to be, but you want to take it off and you don't want to have to lug around this big jacket all day. That's where something like this comes in. Now, of course, this doesn't look like a jacket. That's because it is currently in its packed state. So, this is how it unpacks. And we'll talk more about the packing feature in a second. All it does is roll right out of the breast pocket there, and bammo! Full-size jacket. First, we're going to talk about the materials and construction of the jacket. So right off, this thing is super light, crazy light. This men's size large right here comes in at barely 6 ounces, right? It's 6.1 ounces, men's size large again. Super, super light, super, just portable. Now, one of the things you might think with that is that, well, it's going to be kind of crappy. It's not going to really stick around very well. It's going to, tear easily and all that stuff. I can tell you, I've worn this jacket quite a bit, especially recently, and it really isn't. The jacket is made from 100% recycled ripstop fabric that you can see here, and all the stitching and all the seams here seem to be double stitched. Now, this is really great because, again, you would think something this light is going to be super just delicate, and it's not. This thing is, honestly, even in the hand, when you kind of put a little bit to it, if you actually pull on it, it's a lot more durable than you might think it would be. One of the coolest things of this jacket is that, a lot of things that are made of this lightweight ripstop fabric are pretty noisy. Now, while this is by no means silent, the way that they've got this woven or the way that it's brushed out or whatever, it's pretty quiet. I mean, it's pretty quiet. And when you're running along or riding along or something, especially running, running's going to have the most upper body movement like this. It really isn't something that's kind of like a jangling set of keys right beside your face. It's really nice and quiet, and it isn't distracting like that, so that's a nice touch. When I've worn jackets like this in the past, one of my biggest pet peeves with it is that if you're a sweater, and I am a sweater, and wearing a sweater, how about that? If you're a sweater at all, you're probably going to find yourself sticking to the fabric at some point. What they've done to address that in this jacket from Asics is they've put this you can see this black, it's almost like an internal mesh vest. And what's cool is it creates a nice porous separating barrier between you and the fabric on the places where you're going to sweat the most. Around the chest, down into the armpits, through the back. So that's a really cool feature. You're not really going to be sticking to the thing, and thus you're going to remain aerated. It's going to keep the jacket away. Air is going to flow nicely. Around the hem of the jacket, there is a draw cord here to give it a little more of a snug custom fit around the base of the jacket. Nice for if you're trying to seal out any air and things like that. The hood doesn't have a tie-down drawstring per se, but what it has is the kind of drawstring where when you pull it, you can then lock it out into these little grooves in the channels there in the grommet. So that's really nice. It's also a hood that's not going to go flying away every 2 seconds. It's really quite ample, fits the head really nicely, and doesn't have that speed shell look. We have a review coming up in a couple weeks that you're going to see where there's definitely this skin suit look when you put the hood onto this particular piece. That's not here in this one. Unless you do tighten it down, then it's going to have that a little more kind of slick to your head look. But otherwise, it's a really ample, nice fitting hood. This jacket does have thumb holes. Now, thumb holes are a super favorite. I like thumb holes, especially in the colder months, especially when you have to wear gloves because it creates a nice consistent barrier. You don't have that gap where you're feeling cold wrists. And in this jacket, they're there. They're not what you might think. On this jacket, this is the cuff, okay? You can see no thumb hole visible. What they've got is down inside here an elastic loop, okay? This is the thumb hole. That goes like this. I actually found that it was comfortable like this, but it also kind of worked better a little bit like this over the middle finger. Regardless, the point is that you're not gonna feel those sleeves riding up your wrists, up your forearm, and make you uncomfortable or cold. There is a breast pocket on the left side. This is also the pocket in which the jacket packs. So it's got a dual-sided zipper. One pull on the outside, and if you can see there, another zipper pull on the inside for once it's turned inside out. That breast pocket also has a comms port that you can see comes through the mesh. That's that little dot right there. That's where your headphone cord would go through. And that goes all the way through into the pocket. Keep in mind though, this is not a waterproof jacket. So if you've got a phone or some sensitive device or something like that that you want to put in this pocket while you're using it, if you're going to be sweating, make sure that that's wrapped up in a plastic bag or something so you don't sweat through and ruin your device. There are no traditional pockets on the Fujitrail Packable Jacket from Asics. No traditional pockets. And I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to put my hands in the pockets and just been slightly disappointed. So that is definitely one thing that I would change. They don't need to be huge pockets, but it's you know, of course it would pull from the sleek look, but if they were really bonded the way that this is, the breast pocket is stitched on, it's not really something that sticks out very much. I could see that working just fine, but there are no traditional pockets on this. Now let's talk about the fit of the jacket. For a running jacket, I believe this guy fits right on. It's not supposed to be overly baggy. It's supposed to really run with the body, really fit on you. And that's where this weight thing really plays a role. The weight is so light that it really just disappears on your body. And again, it's nice and quiet. It becomes kind of a part of you. I can see that, you know, there's some ripstop fabrics on the market that have a little bit of stretch to them. And I could see this benefiting from that, particularly through the shoulder area. Generally speaking though, runners particularly are not as broad chested as I am a lot of the times, or broad shouldered. And what ends up happening is that things that fit me right everywhere else may be a little snug through that area. So that could potentially just be me. However, I can definitely see where adding a little bit of stretch to this ripstop wouldn't sacrifice durability or feel, or even weight for that matter, but it would add that extra element of comfort. Now let's talk about the real crux of this jacket. How does it function? It does a great job. As I mentioned earlier, this is a jacket that's so portable. I mean, let's say you're out on a long bike ride, mountain bike, road bike, whatever. You've probably got a pocket in the back of your jersey if you're on a road bike, or a backpack or something like that if you're on a mountain bike. This is something that compresses so small into that breast pocket that it really is something that's very portable. I mean, you don't have to be concerned with any additional weight except for 6 ounces of extra weight. And it's just something that is really nice. And as you can see here, it just takes a couple minutes, not even a couple minutes, a couple seconds to pack away, zip up, slide it into whatever storage compartment you need to, and you're ready to go. I mean, it's really very packable. So is it going to save you in a winter storm? No, that's not what it's meant to do. It's meant to be a lightweight jacket before, during, and after workouts maybe, or just something that's in case of an emergency. If you think the temperature is going to drop by a little bit, definitely something to have, because again, look how much space it takes up. I mean, even then, you could compress it smaller than that. It takes up no space, no weight. Really good idea to have one of these guys with you just in case. At $54 marked down from its original $90, this guy is really something that's kind of hard to pass up. You can actually find links to buy this on Amazon in the post, the original post on Gearist, which you can click it down in the description there. But, you know, it's really something that's not worth not having. The only drawback for some people, not for me because I like this, is that it's not exactly subtle in colors. It's kind of bright. Again, I enjoy this, but not everyone does. So definitely something you want to take a look at. It's really worth considering, because if you're in a pinch, you're in a pinch. You don't have anywhere to go, or you have to carry some bulky thing with you. This takes care of all of that, no problems. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Gearist TV. Please click on over to Gearist.com. Take a look around. Let us know what you think. If you've got any comments or questions about this video, please leave them in the comments section below. Also, subscribe. You've seen a couple subscribe buttons throughout this video. Please click on one of those, or the beautiful blue subscribe button that's going to be right here in just a couple seconds. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us this episode, and we'll talk to you next time.
Hey there everyone, and thanks so much for watching this episode of Gearist TV. Please click on that wonderful, beautiful blue subscribe button right there. Also, if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the questions and comments section below. And don't forget to visit Gearist.com. We'll talk to you next time.